Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Yes, and welcome. This is going on both, actually. It's going on your guys, it's going on ours. Big up Wolfie, how you doing, my friend? Welcome along.
I'm good, bro. Apologies to both chats. It was my bad. I thought we were at 6:30. I have no sense of time. I'm never normally late, believe it or not.
It's absolutely fine. I've been sat here watching your chat go absolutely wild, which is brilliant. It's great seeing you get to see both chats, and the comparison's brilliant. It's mate, how have you been? You good?
Yeah, I was good until I woke up this morning and realized Forest are playing. But outside of that, bro, it's been good. The kids have been sick. Now the wife's down sick, so you know, I'm feeling sick. Football sick though, not physically sick. So I'm all right.
No, listen, mate. I get it. Listen, it felt like this every game last season for Spurs. It felt like last season, anyone we played, I felt we were going to lose. It's probably the most confident, actually. It's a weird one. It's the most confident. I'm never confident. Everyone will know that I am super negative, and I just think we're going to lose to everyone all the time. But today's the game where I feel like we're actually going to win today. This has Nottingham Forest 1-0 written all over it when I've talked like this. It happens every single time. But look, let's sort of get into it. I mean, Brennan Johnson's returning to the stomping ground. Do you expect a good reception for him, or is it going to be he's coming back to the dark side?
Well, ask the chat what they think, because there's been some weird mixed talk about Jono coming back to the City ground. Some of my mates have said, let's put banners up, welcoming him back and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, man. I remember when Collymore left us, one of my all-time favorite players. As soon as he took that red shirt off and replaced it with another red shirt, he was dead to me, man. He was dead to me. Jono's slightly different because, you know, he's like your younger brother, your younger son, that kind of thing. You know, he's grown up through Forest. So I do get it. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, if I was going to the game tonight, I'd be applauding his name off the team sheet, and then I'd be giving him hell for 90 minutes. Why would we want to give you any advantage?
No, listen.
Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I get it. I agree. I'm definitely one of these. I'm on that side of the camp always, 100%. Like I hear when I hear people go, "Oh, like just support him. He did so well." No, he don't play for us anymore. I hear all this like I heard it all with Dele Alli when he went to Everton. I've heard it count as I had it with Spurs fans about Pochettino coming back to us. Like, he doesn't manage us anymore. He manages one of our rivals. Who cares? Like, I agree
with you on this, bro. Because I remember when you double sniped Dawson and Andy Reid from us.
Yeah. Dawson.
At that time, Andy Reid was my hero, man. But the moment he put that white, especially being Spurs, man, with all my family who's Spurs, he was dead to me. But then, you know, he rose back from the dead because he came back to Forest and what have you. But again, it's like I'm not sentimental. I'm not sentimental.
They both went back to Forest, actually, didn't they? Dawson came back to Forest, didn't he, near the end?
Yeah. He came back. He ended up being captain again at Forest. He shares a birthday with me. Shout out to you, Dawson.
Oh, Michael Dawson's a legend. What a guy.
He's a good guy, but you know, for me, it's a case of we need 3 points. Yeah. And encouraging Jono, and I said it earlier, and I'll say it again, and my chat will go crazy at this. Jono's not scoring tonight. He's not scoring tonight. I'll tell you that much. Just not because I don't think he's going to sabotage or freaking double agent or anything like that. I just don't feel playing against Forest is the style that suits his game. He likes space in behind to run into. We're going to be playing pretty much in the Trent end, man. It's going to be that deep, you know? So I can't see him getting that space. That's what it is for me. But I don't know. And they all start calling me Jinxerine in my chat. I can see them coming through now. Yeah, you lot shut up, man. Behave yourselves. We are guests here, right? But no, I told you.
Go with the flow, my friend. It's absolutely fine.
But yeah, look, I'm not worried about Jono. The ones I'm worried about more, to be honest, Basuma, for me, very underrated for Spurs. He controls that midfield. I don't know how Conte didn't get a tune out of him last season. I think he's your key tonight. If he can control that midfield, if he can, dominate that midfield, then we're in a world of trouble. We really are. So I don't know. Every Spurs fan I've spoken to this week is asking me how many do we think we'll lose by. It's not a case of winning. And I don't think it's that straightforward, man. I've seen Spurs bottle it plenty of times.
Oh, it's one of those. This is where I've always sat with it. When I feel confident, it does really, really worry me because I sit there and go, "Oh, here we go. This is going to be." And like, I think I think we should comfortably win today. But you're right. I think the key bit for us is Spurs haven't really shown it when teams sit really deep, and we've got to find a way. Newcastle gave us all the space in the world to get in behind, cause all the problems here and there. But we didn't, and we dominated them against them. It's going to be a different game. I totally agree with you. Can Spurs go and do it? Yeah, we've got good players. Son, I think Johnson's starting to now show what we signed him a few guys from. You're right, Basuma, Sarah starting to show a real good unity. Kulu down the middle's working. Look, the wheels are rolling for Tottenham at the moment, and they're going in the right direction. But you're right in the sense of if Forest make it difficult for Tottenham, have they got that plan B? That for me is the bit that we need to work on. Have we got that go? Do you know what? We need to find a way here.
But do you want me to make it crap yourself?
Anything?
I got, and this is breaking news for the chat as well. Firstly, shout out to Brandon. I think he's picked up COVID, one of our regulars. So hope you feel better.
Big up Brandon, mate, in the chat.
Big up Brandon. But let me give you some breaking news. I don't know how true it is. But I'm hearing whispers.
Hashtag in the know.
And whispers in the grapevine, matey, that there's a big shock return to the Forest squad. I don't know if he'll start. And I don't know who will worry more when I say this. But Scott McKenna may be back in the squad because Felipe has had a late injury. How does that make you lot feel, huh? Scott McKenna back.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not. I mean, whether or not who plays in your back three, back four, however you guys sub. I mean, normally play three with two wing backs, or midfielders, whatever you want to, however they want to call it and stuff. No, listen, I'm not massively worried. I think, but why I am worried, and this is the part for me that does worry me, and it does concern me, is the sense that we aren't very good at breaking teams down, and the likes of a Scott McKenna, and I see your reaction to it, but he's a sort of defender, though. All you have to do is tell him just sit and stop, just break up play, be a bit aggressive here and there. And Spurs have got to have to deal with that. But for me, I think the key bit for me is, and I think if Spurs score early, it could be any scoreline. I honestly think, if Spurs get an early goal, like we have done a lot this season, I think we could. It could be a cricket score. But if Forest can stop Spurs and rattle Spurs, or whatever the sort of terminology you want to use with it, Forest keep it in the game. Look how many times we've played teams this season that have kept Tottenham. They've kept themselves in the game, only keeping it at 0-0 or keeping it only being one goal behind. And I think this is the worry for me, is that I think we're going to win the game. I think we should comfortably win today.
Hip him again.
But my concern is the longer it stays 1-0 or 0-0, that terrifies me as a Tottenham fan. And that's just on experience all season.
Do you know what? I fully agree with you. I don't know if the Forest guys in the chat will agree with me, but one of my biggest fears is Forest take an early lead. I know it sounds stupid, right? Mm-hmm. The amount of times we scored early, and then the game plan is let's sit even deeper now and see if we can just hold on for probably a draw, definitely not a win. I agree with you. If Forest can get this game to 0-0 at half time, then I feel you guys might get a little itchy, you know? a little on the edge of your seats.
I agree. I think the longer it stays 0-0, it puts you guys back into the game, right?
Yeah.
I think you guys, you want to keep it. Listen, let's be fair. You get a point today, not in a disrespectful term, but if you get a point today, it's a good result for you boys. You're on not great run of form. I think it was 1 win in 12 or something like that. Am I right in saying?
You reminded me, yeah.
Sorry, apologies. I don't mean to remind you, but yeah, it's 1 win. So you get a point today, and you go, dude, that's a good point. It's a 0.1, but I think this is the key bit for me. I think Spurs showed against Newcastle last week that that's how you can do it. That's what we're all about. This free-flowing, attacking football, beautiful on the eye, but it's all about can we do it now on a cold Friday night at the City Ground?
It's a fortress, mate. It's a fortress.
The fortress.
The fortress, mate. It's been breached a couple of times, but we'll ignore those. Look, the other thing I'll hold on to, mate, and it doesn't get spoken about much. And I know you lot will be like, oh, there's Conte ball and all this stuff. But the League Cup match last season, we destroyed you, mate. We absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, you did. You battered us there.
Yeah. And that was the one time, really, I remember last season where we took, a team to the sword, really, and went for it. Yeah, Conte was Conte and what have you. And yes, both teams are completely different this year. But there is something about this fixture. There is something that Forest have got a better head-to-head record against Spurs. We've won more times than you have in the Premier League era. And, I go back to the FA Cup, not the 91 one, but I'm talking the penalty shootout on the third replay of that FA Cup. Nights like that, where Big Norm, Mark Crosley, that penalty shootout, saving. Do you remember Wilson? He saved Wilson's penalty. He saved Sheringham's penalty. I think was it Rosenthal?
Might just be past my time. I think.
Conveniently. You can't remember those facts. Yeah,
you're showing your age in.
Bro, I'm only 22. I've just seen the highlights reel on YouTube and all that.
Listen.
I'm telling you, this is not. We used to be your bogey team. In that Premier League era, before we got relegated, we were your bogey team. And I'm praying we've got a lot stocked up in the nose.
Yeah, and if you use last season, great example, by the way. Last season was a great example. That for me showed everything that was wrong about Tottenham at the time, right? And at the time we'll turn up, we'll win today. It's only Forest. Forest's B team. We'll win this. It was also just like it was the final game before everyone went off for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And so people were going, oh well, and it had that feeling of it where players went, oh, I'm not playing to get injured here. I am not getting injured today. Like I saw players, and by the way, I include players like Harry Kane ducking out of tackles. Yeah. And I just sat there and I went, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Like,
and that's the most shameful thing of it all. Lingard scored.
Yeah, Lingard scored, but it had that real horrible feeling, that game of, like we didn't really turn up, we didn't care, and as I said, it felt like half our players were sitting there going, I'm not going to go full force here because if I get injured, I'm missing the World Cup, which I can understand, but as a football fan, I'm sitting there going, whoa, hang on a minute, what? Like, not for me, right?
Yeah, but do you think there's a bit of that going on now, Perchy? Because we've got about 8 players going to the AFCON next month. And
yeah, we've got 2.
Yeah, but is that it? Try 8.
Well, you say that though. It's our midfield pairing in Basuma and Sarr. I mean, it's not squad players. It is what I would say our best 2 midfielders at the moment.
Yeah, but you still got like Højbjerg in the background and all this stuff. So you're getting no sympathy from me.
But crap.
What I'm making is what you were saying about the World Cup thing. I'm just wondering if there's a bit of that creeping into the Forest players for the AFCON. They don't want to get in.
Who have you got going?
Bro, we got Sangare, Aurier, Bolly. Help me out, chat here.
Winnie, or is he still injured?
He's still injured, so he won't be going. So that was the 4th. Einar, the fullback. Chat, help me. Quixote, he's going to check Quixote. There's 2 more. Chat.
I'm trying to think of myself here.
I can't remember who the other two are.
Is it Nia Kate or is he
Nia
French?
Kate, yeah, Nia Kate's going, and one other. Monty, no, not Monty. Shut up, Crips.
Montiel's Argentinian.
It's Argentinian.
I'm trying to think of some here. Oh,
There's one
gosh,
more. There's one more. He's wrong. It's 22. Keith, it's 22. I can't remember who. There's one more. Let's see if the chat.
Was it Mangala?
Nah, he's from Belgium.
Belgium.
Some Forest fans think he's from Africa, but he's from Belgium. But yeah, but it's what I'm saying is though that's quite a big chunk of the 25 that may have one eye now, especially as we're only a couple of weeks away on the AFCON, and I wonder if that's playing into their mindset at all. So I do worry about that. But you know, at the same time, I'm not writing us off tonight, even though I feel like it's inevitable. And yes, you know, no objective, logical argument I could sit here and make to you tonight would convince me or maybe the other Forest fans that we're going to win this one. But football isn't played on paper. That's the key thing for me. It's not on paper, and anything can happen. And honestly, we can make it a real tasty atmosphere at the City Grounds. And if your boys aren't up for it, the thing that could cost you is that if you get overconfident and overcommit. I want to see how Romero and who are you playing with him? Davis, isn't it, at the moment?
Back four will be Porro, Romero, Davis, and a doggy.
Yeah, because I'm expecting Udogie and Pedro Porro to bomb it forward, leaving that back line of Romero and Davis. And are they going to become overconfident, overcommit? Because we saw it against Villa. At certain points in that game, Villa were playing their centre-backs in our half. Now, you do that and we leave Alanga forward, maybe Morgan Gibbs-White forward, we can catch you on a counter-attack. We're going to be long ball FC here. But, you know, it's going to be... I can't make too many arguments for a Forest win. The only argument I've got is that if we beat you, my brother is getting pelters all week for it. Even a draw.
The thing is I'll get pelters from your lot that are going to all subscribe over here and have to give me pelters during the watch along. That's what's going to happen.
I will send them your way. So chat, when we go 1-0 up in the watch along, I'll be sending you Perchy's way over to Football Heritage, and you give him hell. Yeah. Even if we go
I will do the opposite, by the way, as well. They're equally.
You won't have a chance, mate. You won't have a chance. I'm semi-convincing.
It's true.
Semi-convincing myself. But yeah, as Sean's saying in the chat, the other guy that I don't think, if I talk about a couple of the Forest players just for the Spurs side, I think our best player is Murillo, the Brazilian sensation wonder kid, who's like built like a tank.
He looks a good player, him.
Quality player. He's basically a mixture of Beckenbauer mixed with Zidane, mixed with a bit of Messi and all that. Yeah, I wish. But he has, joking aside, he's hit the ground running. He's a ball-carrying centre-back. I mean, I don't know if you saw it against, what team was it? I can't remember the last year. Was it Brighton? I think it might have been. Ball came over and they were through on goal. He literally didn't even start running. He gave the guy a 5-yard head start on him. I think it was Brighton, chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then he just, Everton, I think it was. Then he turns the afterburners on, catches him up, swats him aside, takes the ball and moves it along. He's just got a real footballing IQ that I like. However, he is prone to a mistake because he likes to step up a lot. You know, I think he would actually work quite well in the Spurs team. You know, that style of mentality that Ange has got going on. So I think he could be key. Now, he's probably going to come up if Jono plays on the right-hand side. Murillo is going to absolutely eat him up tonight. Jono's not physical enough to take on Murillo. And Murillo's pace on that side, he can keep up with him even though he's tonked up. So that gives me a little bit of hope. But what I don't know, bro, what the uncertainty for me is, and we'll find out in 14 minutes' time, is what is the team sheet going to be? Is Cooper going to play 3 CDMs across the middle? Is he going to be a little more adventurous? I can't see it. I think it's going to be probably something like Sangare, who's splitting the fan base at the moment, even though I'm saying give him time. He is a good player.
A lot of people were talking about him going not like to I would say like a team in Europe in the sense that like the likes. So when you guys got him, he was the sort of player I was like, we need a number 6. He looks like a tidy number 6. I'd have had him at Spurs, and I don't know if it is. Look, I don't watch you guys every week, so you'll be a better answer. What? Don't. But what is it? Where is this sort of? Because as when we signed, I thought, oh, do you know what? You boys have got in a good midfielder, and I thought you've actually got a good, solid midfield coming along. But is he in and out of the squad, or?
It's a few things for me. I think the first number one key is I see him as, I would call it an attacking six. There's no real position.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? He plays as a CDM, but he not only can he break up the play in his natural position, but then he can trigger the turnover and the first stage of the attack. Cooper's not playing him as a 6. He's almost playing him as an 8. So that for me is number one. He needs to be played as a 6 in his correct position. Yep. The second thing is he keeps going all these international breaks. Every time he's gone, he's either come back jet lagged one time, he's come back with a virus that he hasn't recovered from, etc. So he hasn't really, he's still kind of a bit stop-start. And the other thing for me is the style of football we're playing is not the style he's used to when he was over at PSV. Quite an attacking team. Sangare was the anchor man there, but playing quite forward as well. So he's having to get used to this different negative style of football where we're sitting back so deep, where he can't influence the game in and around the middle of the park. He's having to win the ball quite deep, and then there's no real runners off him and things like that. So I still think the best is to come out of him. I keep saying to all Forest fans is when we got Renan Lodi last season, the left back from Atletico, everyone turned, well, not everyone, but a lot of people turned against him early on, especially after we lost 4-0 to Leicester. I was like, guys, this guy is quality. Players don't go from quality to shite overnight.
Exactly. I say it's all, I agree.
Yeah, apart from Fernando Torres. But outside of that, the rest of them tend to have a drop-off. And that's my argument still with Sangare. And it was only 3 or 4 weeks ago where we were talking about a settled midfield at Forest with Mangala, Sangare, and Dominguez looking really tasty and sharp. And it's funny, 2-3 weeks later, there's a lot they've just changed their minds on it. And a lot of them, the other thing they don't seem to get into their minds is because he's big money for Forest, which was 30 million, that's peanuts in the Premier League. If we're being realistic about it. I get your point. That's nearly half the price you guys paid for Jono, who's a a prospect player. So we're looking at someone we've only paid 30 million for. So in the bigger scheme, look how much Casado went for. Even Lavia going to Chelsea as well, how much they all went for. So there's got to be some perspective of how much you've spent to what you're getting as well. But I'm telling you now, he is going to come good. And, God knows what's going to happen if we do lose tonight with Cooper, etc. But if we were, for, argument's sake, a new manager came in who played a bit more progressive football, I think then you would see Sangare flourishing, mate.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, as I said to you, I think he's a good player. I think time is the way for it. But the question I would ask, though, is there time at Forest at the moment? You're one of these that doesn't think that the manager is the right man for the job. If you, I don't want to quote you, but I believe that is your position.
Correct.
Because obviously it's very divided with the whole Steve Cooper thing. You've got a lot that really love him for what he's done, and people like yourselves and people in your chat and stuff I've seen that necessarily don't think he's the right man for the job, which is fine. Everyone's allowed an opinion, right? And
well, you'd think, but yeah.
Yeah, you would think. But the question is look, if he was sacked tomorrow, lose today and then he gets sacked tomorrow, who do you replace him with and why?
So what I would say, just to answer the first part of the question, I still think he has the backing of the majority of the Forest fan base, and fair play to them, they can back who they want. I still argue that every person I've spoke to is Cooper in argues from a position of sentimentality. He got us up. He loves the club. He loves the city, etc. For me, that's all well and good. Thank you for what you've done. But I'm interested in the now and the future. So that's where I come from. Yeah, we could, if we were to lose to you and Everton pick up a point at least tomorrow against Burnley, we'll find ourselves 17th in the league. And God knows if Sheffield United start picking up points or Burnley. And I don't see that as progress. I see that as regress. Especially where I kind of see it, with all due disrespect to those bottom 3 clubs. I don't see them as Premier League clubs, right? So I see it as a 17-team league. And at the moment, we're sitting second bottom. And Everton are only behind us. Why? Because they've had 10 points deducted. And if they overtake us tomorrow, they've overturned. Yes, they weren't 10 points ahead of us, but I think they were 5 to 6 ahead. They've already turned that over in 2.5 weeks. That in itself is not acceptable. 1 win in 12, 2 away wins in 28, 5 losses in the last 6 or whatever it is. Every single stat on paper tells you that it's not going right. So for me, that's where I build my position from, objectively from what I'm seeing on the pitch. Now, in terms of who comes in to replace him, I've not put my hat on anyone. If I've heard names suggested, I've seen Lopetegui's been heavily linked. And again, I put them side by side. I'll look at it and say, okay, let's have a look at their CVs. Who's got the better CV? Lopetegui won the Europa Cup. He's managed Real Madrid. He managed at Spain. He was undefeated in his reign at Spain. National coach, Sevilla took him to the Europa and won it. He took Wolves last season from bottom of the table to 13th in 5 minutes. So if you give me a way up between the candidates, I say Lopetegui's better. Now, there's a lot of Forest fans that will say, no, Cooper's better. Cooper understands Forest better. Lopetegui, he causes problems, he causes issues, etc. Then I look at the other ones that have been linked. You've got Glasner, who also won the European Cup with Frankfurt. Good credential. Speaks a couple of foreign languages, which we need as for our coach at the moment. Amount of international flavor we've currently got. So my process is very simple. You weigh them up side by side. You take off your Steve Cooper goggles and you think, can this guy do a better job? Is his credentials better than what Cooper's doing? If it's yes, then it's a no-brainer to me. And the other key point for me, bro, is the longer this goes on for, let's say we do beat you tonight, which I really hope we do, but let's say we beat you tonight. This can get kicked down the road because then
I know that.
So then we got Bournemouth next, who are in good form. Then we go away to Newcastle. Then we've got Man United. I mean, God knows what you get with Man U. Then Brentford and Arsenal. If we then come full circle back to where we are now, let's say we beat you and lose all those games. My biggest issue is when you get into January, February time, where the manager merry-go-round has kind of come to a stop. The last person left to pick up is someone like Big Sam. And at that stage, you're too late. You've blown the season. You could end up being in a relegation battle. You either, for me, have to make the call now or pin your kind of, all your hopes on Steve Cooper and say, right, he's in. Either way, and I've said this all week, whether you're Cooper in or Cooper out, this uncertainty, this rolling one-match contract, as I call it, doesn't help anyone. I would prefer
uncertainty, isn't it?
Yeah, I would prefer Marinakis comes out and says, you know what, I'm backing Cooper till the end of the season, relegation, whatever. I'd be like, fine. I can make my peace with that. I can get behind the team and do it. But if you're asking me for my personal opinion, I have not seen anything this season that suggests we've moved forward, bro. So that's where I am with that.
No, listen, I actually agree. Because you know what? I feel like I was in exactly this situation last season with Conte. I didn't want him there. I felt the football was awful. There was a massive collection of fans that seemed to love what Conte did. And I just hated everything about his style of play. I hated everything about the football was awful. I hated the negativity around the football club. It just became toxic. And it was he might as well, I kept saying he might as well walk around with a cap that said, sack me now, Daniel. Like it felt like he was walking into press conferences saying as much outlandish and outrageous things as possible to go, there we go, I've got the sack finally, now you've sacked me. And it just ruins it. And the problem is what the main part was. I think saying what you just made a great point on, this 1 year contract, rolling contract. Felt like that with Conte. It was that he signed an 18-month contract. And it was like, well, that's a stopgap. Managers that sign that shorter contract, they're not there for the long period. And Cooper's been there for a relative amount of time for you guys. But when you're signing 1 year, where do you get to that? Because it only works until it doesn't, right? But the problem is if you go and get in a, whatever you want to call it, a project manager or whatever buzzword you want to use, at least you know with that, it's kind of like what we got with Ange at the moment, Big Ange at the moment. You know the direction that we're going to go with this football club. Whether you agree or disagree with the project that we've got there, you can at least go, do you know what? At least as a football club, we know what we're doing. I think you boot out Steve Cooper now, You have to, if you bring the next person that comes in, it's got to be that person that comes in and goes, you're here for 3 years because we're going to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, what happens is Forest will just. Listen, my opinion means nothing. I'm a Spurs fan, but from the outside looking to go, Forest can slowly, without them, do a very similar thing to what Leeds did, where Leeds, everyone came in, manager, everyone loved Bielsa and all this lot, and then they got rid of him and all that lot, and then all this happened, and then they went down the same road of, okay, we just need to stay in the Premier League. We will do whatever we can, but there's no continuity, there's no progression, because it's all about just staying in the Premier League for the sake of it, right? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. It's like, but there's so many different connections you could make. I think Villa's a good example. Dean Smith brings them up. The Villa fans love Dean Smith. Then eventually they got rid of him and they ended up with Gerrard. Now that's definitely not an upgrade. But what you found is that Gerrard took him to a level, kept him in the Premier League, and then they got Emery in. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it may take 2 minutes. I don't know the answer because I can't see into the future. And at least I can admit to that. What you have on the other side of the argument is everyone saying, if we lose Cooper, we're done. If we lose Cooper, we're going to have another 30 managers in the next, 5 minutes. And I'm like, you don't know that. You don't know that. All I can judge it on is what I'm seeing on the pitch, what I'm seeing as the results, and what I'm seeing in progression. And that's where I stand on it, bro. But we're 2 minutes away from the team sheets. Are you
what I'll do once they come up, I'll put them up on the screen. So so nobody cheat and look before. It gives me a quick second to. But look, just to sort of what before team news does come out, and then we can sort of go through it. I'm expecting no changes to Tottenham. Because I think there's no one. I don't expect anyone to come in or anyone from what I believe has been injured. So I think it'll be exactly the same team sheet as the Newcastle game. I think one thing you did mention there about sacking, and I think you're actually spot on one point. I think is that you've got to make a decision relatively soon.
Yeah.
If you sack it, you've kind of got to commit to either you sack him now or you're committing to it. You can't go in the middle because you look at other teams, and Man United are a bigger football team, but they're going to look like they're going to want a new manager. There's not many, what I would say, amazing managers out there. Lopetegui's been linked with the Man United job. Also been linked with the Nottingham Forest job. So
the Palace job as well now,
and the Palace job. So then what you've got there is it's kind of that who's the first club to blink? Because then when there's X, Y, and Z clubs all over the place trying to get a manager, then all of a sudden whether you like it or not, Man United are always going to be the ones. The team news is out. If you talk for 30 seconds, I'll have it quickly up for you now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And that's my worry, is that we end up with a big Sam if this does go, tits up towards the end of the season. Just having a quick look as well. Oh my God, man. What have we got here with this team?
Here we go.
I'll let you bring it up.
Here we go. I'll put them up. I'll let you go first as the home team. It's quickly uploaded. There you go.
So let's bring those team news. There you go. All right.
Go on. You do.
I'm looking at this. I'm just seeing a back five here of Bolly. Well, the three centre backs will be Bolly, Murillo, and I'm assuming Niakate's there somewhere. Yes, he is. Then we got our fullbacks, Nico Williams and Tuffalo. And then we're looking at a midfield three here. Yates, Kiate. Oh, come on, man. Kiate's not got the legs for this. Yates, Kiate, and Mangala. And then it's a 1-1. So he's playing Gibbs White in the 10. And then it looks like Elanga is false 9. That to me, I'm pretty sure, chat, if I'm not mistaken, that's the same team as last week. I'm sure someone will correct me. It
looks very similar to the team from last week.
I think it's identical, mate. I think it's identical.
And talking of identical teams, look, we'll flick over. Tottenham's lineup is Vicario Porro, Romero, Davis, Adoghi, Basuma, Sarr, Kulusevski, Johnson, Richarlison, and Son, which is exactly the same team that battered Newcastle last weekend. And the bench of Forster, Royale, Dorrington, Dyer, Højbjerg, Skip, Brian Hill, Jamie Donnelly, and Lee. So still a load of youngsters on the bench with some relatively average football players. But look, news is out. Team news is out. Look, what's your instant reaction to that?
Can I swear on here?
Not fragrantly. Go, do whatever. Go.
Poo.
Poo.
Look, was I expecting that team? Yeah. Was I thinking there'd be some slight tweaks? Maybe. I'm just quickly looking at the bench to see if there's any surprises on it. He's got Blackademus, oh God, Chris Woods, Hudson Odoi, Dominguez, Origi, Danilo, Montiel, Omar Bamadeli, and Aina. Sangare's not even made the bench. That's very interesting. Very interesting. So clearly the relationship with him and Sangare is not great. I don't know, bro. I like chat more or less confident having seen that team now. I just think, look, Kiate was decent against Wolves. Problem is, bro, he hasn't got the legs for 90 minutes. He's barely got the legs for 40. So that's definitely going to be a change that happens probably 50th, 60th minute. And you're looking at it, it's probably going to be Danilo coming on. I probably would have started Danilo, to be honest. Or a Dominguez. Dominguez is a better presser and a better ball player. Mangala's been fantastic all season, so I'm happy he's on there. I do think there's some units in that back. I can't see Richarlison. You got Richarlison on yours?
Yeah. Richarlison starting up top. There's our team.
For me, Richarlison he won't be able to out physique our centre backs.
Outstrength.
Thank you. That's the correct English phrase. So for me, bro, I look at that and think this is all about what Spurs can do for me. Yeah. Can you break down the low block? This is screaming low block. Can you break that low block down? And you have to, as you said, and I do agree with you, you need an early goal. Because even if you get an early goal, I don't think Forest will change the game plan. Forest will hold on until the 70th, 80th minute, and then he'll start throwing the kitchen sink. Yeah. So I'm not confident.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with what you said. I think, do you know what the key bits are? Is Toffolo and Williams is going to be the key ones here. Can they have they got the are they going to be the ones where can they stop the pressing from the likes of Son, Udogie, Porro, and Brennan Johnson as an attacking four wide players for Tottenham versus those two guys? Can those two guys handle it? Because if they can, you exploit what Spurs was so good against Newcastle with. The best way to exploit Spurs was Spurs exploited Newcastle's fullbacks. Kieran Trippier, who's been brilliant all season, was awful. Had an awful game. And it was Livramento on the other wing that had an awful game as well. And I think that's the key bit. If we can exploit those guys in Toffolo and Williams, I think that's a real opportunity for us to really, really take charge of the game. And as you said, if we get an early goal, it could be I'm talking not for yourselves, but for us. If we go 2 or 3-0 up at half time, you could go game over. Look, let's now take a little bit of with the big schedule now coming up. You can take the foot off the gas and go, do you know what? Game's done it. Like, take a little bit of a step back on it. But at 1-0, with Tottenham 1-0 up worries me. Doesn't matter who we're playing. We could be playing Barnet and we could be 1-0 up with 45 minutes to go, and it would worry me because I've noticed that we don't kill games off. But we did against Newcastle. Now, was that a flash in the pan, or is that a change of the way that we're going to do things? We'll find out today. Spurs should be beating Forest. I don't think that's even an argument. But Forest can cause problems. I think the one biggest thank you for me that was Awunyi not playing, because I think he's brilliant. I think he's a top player.
Yeah, he's a key miss. It's huge.
He's a top player. And when you lose a player as good as Taiwo Awunyi, that for me is a real worry, because you go, okay, where are our goals coming from? Because I can't see where your goals come from.
I'm still looking.
Still looking.
I mean, reading the messages from my lot in the chat, They don't seem that confident now. It's almost like I'm getting to the stage now where I want to feel less and less confident. The more the less confident I feel, in a weird way, the more confident I am we might get the result. That's what I'm saying here, man. Because I felt like this before Villa, bro. It's how I was feeling before Villa, and we beat them 2-0 and quite comfortably. So I don't know. I just look for me, my worries on that team sheet, sticking out like a sore thumb. Check Quixote, his legs will go. Ryan Yates, he'll get stuck in. I think you probably need to worry about Ryan Yates getting in the head of maybe Romero or
don't.
Romero.
Do you know what? That's such a good point. I think this is really, really important for Spurs. It's about composure. And I had this yesterday. There was I don't know. There was a big debate. Otherwise, it would have just gone all wrong. There was a really big debate on the Spurs Unleashed show we did yesterday, and about Christian Romero. This is where I want to see a player like him. I think he's a very, very good defender, but he's rash and crazy at times, and he can't get booked today. He gets booked today, he misses the Everton game. Now we can't have that now, because we need our best players available now, because whilst we've still got injuries and players are slowly coming back, we can't afford a player like Romero getting suspended for the Everton game, because we win today. And I think the key bit is we go comfortably up, you go do a game over it, let's kill the game off. You don't need to go flying into tackles. Don't get a yellow card. If I was the manager now, I'd be in his ear going, whatever you do not get a yellow card today.
Because you lose some of them if you do that. That's my question, really. It's part of his makeup that he has to play that ugly side of football. You know what I'm saying? That fires him up. That keeps him on the edge of his game. You know, if he starts to go conservative, do you lose a little of what makes him a decent player? That's where you got to find the balance.
I get that. That is the argument against it. But then I always sit back and I try and use the sort of rationale that great defenders don't rush in and go flying in. There's not like, do you know what I mean? Great defenders defend with them. Like, do you know what I mean? They defend with their head before they do anything else.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting in the comparison, but look at Paolo Maldini as an example. One of the best defenders I've ever watched in my lifetime. Yeah. He defended up here more than anyone else did, I think.
I agree.
And I think that's the key bit. Today's an important one. Doesn't need to go flying into tackles day. Defend with your head over your heart sometimes. I understand why people love it sometimes, but I just sit back. Today's an important one, because the key bit for me is if he gets suspended against Everton and we lose that game because of it, because we've got Emerson Royale playing at centre half, then we all sit back and go, why is Emerson playing at centre half? Well, you go, well, Romero shouldn't have got suspended. But I think I'll be honest, to be fair, I think he'll be fine today. I'll be honest, I think it's going to be a really, really good game of football.
Yates is one you have to watch out for that, bro. He will know all about his rep. Yates plays that style of game. He really can get into the opponent's head. Now, do I rate Yates as a footballer on the pitch? Not, he's not a top 5 for me. But in that style where you want someone to really cause, the shithousery, that's the guy you want in there. So I can kind of get what he's done with that. For me, it's Check Quixote. That's my worry. Hopefully, now I've said that, he's going to go and score a goal. Honestly, I'm looking at the bench now, bro, and outside, I think the bench looks stronger than the first 11, apart from Chris Wood. It's worrying me a little. I'm not going to lie to you, but football, as I said at the start, is not played on paper. So these guys that went out, this is the same team as we did against Wolves. They showed a little fight. They showed a little desire, which we hadn't seen for a few weeks. So maybe they've earned their place, to go again. But we'll judge it at full time. But my initial reaction is, I hope I'm wrong. But I was hoping for a bit more. No,
definitely. When do you need to go? I know you said you wanted to go at quarter past.
Yeah, I got another 4 or 5 minutes or so.
Okay, cool. Well, let's sort of slowly wrap up then, because I know you've got to get your watch long set up. I will need to do exactly the same. Look, guys over at Football Heritage TV, please can you go over Sanad, do you want to whack your link in the? It's sorry, I'll put. It might be
Forest
easier if I do
Fan TV, yeah.
But yeah, everyone will go over on Football Heritage TV. Go over to Forest Fan TV and go and hit a subscription. Look, guys, there should be about 50, 60 of you. Go over there and subscribe right now. I don't expect you to be over there. So go over and support. That'll be absolutely brilliant if you could do that. I will get your link quickly.
I'll chuck the link in now, bro. And same from my end. We got about 200 in us at the moment, yeah? Make sure and you go and show Perchy some love and Sava as well. I can't wait to Sava back as well. What a top lad he is.
Sava will be back soon. So yeah, so definitely look. I found your link. There you go, everyone. There you go. I don't know if that goes to your lot, if it goes to just my lot, maybe. There you go. There you go, guys. Go over. That's go over to Forest Fan TV. All the Spurs lot. Go over there and just spread some love, man.
Yeah. Or you can just do at Forest Fan TV as well.
At Forest Fan TV. There you go. That'd be absolutely amazing.
I've got your link as well in my description, so I'm sure my lot will show you some love. Because we're going to be doing a lot more work with you and Sava over hopefully
definitely have you on our Tuesday shows. So definitely that'll be absolutely brilliant. Look, let's sort of slowly wrap it up because I'm going to send all of my lot are going over to my watch along. All of your lot are going over to your watch along. There you go, guys. There you go. Boom. Thank you very much. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Look, let's quickly got everyone in the chat. If you're a Spurs fan, if you're a Forest fan, get your score predictions in right now. We'll give you a couple of minutes and we'll talk about what our score predictions are. And Sanad, you're a guest on our channel for this we'll kind of get on each other's, but I'll let you go first. Give me a score prediction from all of what we've talked about.
I don't want to.
You've got to.
Head 1-1 draw. Heart.
That's hard.
Sorry, wrong way around. Oh, shit. Sorry. Heart 1-1 draw. Heads 2-0 Spurs.
2-0.
And I've already blocked my brother's number on my phone, so I'll
just as a precaution. It'll get unblocked when you go 1-0 up in the first 10 minutes.
Well, 5 minutes, until we then go ultra low block.
I'm gonna go. What have I said all week? I said we're gonna win 3-0. And I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stay a bit positive. I'm going to go. We're going to win 3-0 today. What I want more than anything is a clean sheet. I feel like we haven't had a clean sheet, which has felt like for absolutely ever that we haven't had a clean sheet. So I'd absolutely love us to get a clean sheet today. So I'm going to go 3-0 and stay what I said. I'm going to say Richarlison scores. Brennan Johnson's going to get a brace. Why not? And he's going to silence the crowd.
No chance is Jono scoring today. He won't score.
I'm going for it. Big Brennan is going to score a brace today. Let's go. He should have scored a brace against Newcastle. So, look.
He'll step up to take it and he'll miss it.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Look, thank you very much, man. Listen, we'll do much more stuff. Definitely. It's been really cool.
It's killed the nerves a little beforehand.
Literally.
I'll be live in about 20 minutes for my lot that here. And I'll send them your way, bro, once we go 1-0 up.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going live in about 15 minutes to do the watch along. I'm just literally gonna have a quick bite to eat because I feel like it's gonna be a late one tonight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long one.
And I'm gonna clear the pipes out as well because I'm getting nervous now.
Definitely. Everyone in the chat, thank you very much. Make sure you like both streams, whichever streams you're on, make sure you're liking over at Forest Fan TV. If you're over at Football Heritage TV as well, make sure you're liking on both ends. That'll be absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, guys. And if you're watching me, we'll see you in about 15 minutes. But on that note, peace out and see you later.
You ready?
Bye-bye.